We're going to talk about even having digital backups, having those in at least 2 different locations, having a hard drive, a physical hard drive if you're having a laptop. Let me know if I'm coming in kind of loud. I get passionate and I get all excited.
Oh man, do your thing. I'll pull it down post-production. Or everybody, just turn your volume down a little bit. Let the man be passionate. Let the man be passionate.
All right, so you want to talk about having hard drives. You definitely want at least 2 hard drives. The reason you have 2, you have one that's on the premises, but you have a backup that is not on the premises. You make sure that whatever, and again, we're talking about things that are important. We're talking about your taxes. We're talking about, we take a ton of pictures. That by having pictures, let's say for you, your family, for the course of years, we take a ton of pictures these days. You may just have to have a backup just for that, or a storage device just for that. We have the cloud. I'm a believer in the cloud, but guess what? You pay money for that. I'm also old school. I got DVDs still stored somewhere, so you want to make sure you have these types of backups that you are in control of. Otherwise, you're paying somebody else to control your stuff. So, again, I'm all for having our own information, our own stuff. Things get hacked. I don't know how many times we talked about how, or we hear on the internet how these stars got their clouds hacked and all these whatever comes down, and you have to find out what works for you. And I'm just mentioning things that say, oh, you know what? I didn't think of that. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, what about that? Oh, that's a good point. I see in the background, you have a cassette disc, those are some things that we used to have up and so forth. We used to have those. We don't do those anymore, but hey, they served a purpose. We still want that purpose to pull through to this year and, for our needs. So it's a lot of stuff. All right. You tell me which area you want to hit.
All right. So first, I like that you laid out first some tools. Yes. When you mentioned the file cabinet, you mentioned the hard drives, and you said on and off premise. So I'm going to start there because actually I just had this conversation with my nephew. I think in terms of my family and, my father, mother, etc., that part of the family, I have some photos. But then some are scattered, my brother has some, my father has some, etc. Now, when it comes to my family, I have most of the photos. I kept the computer hard drives, etc. Now, so would you recommend, I do have them backed up on a hard drive. So I asked my nephew about the cloud because I know he's in IT. We talked about some of those solutions. Like you said, the price of them are pretty expensive, especially if you look at it. This is something I plan to keep for the next 10 years. And then what if I, for whatever reason, I can't pay it or don't want to pay that bill or whatever? What if I forget about it in some cases?
Exactly.
Now, what do I do? Because you're paying maybe $5-10 a month. That's not cheap. So would you perhaps recommend going the hard drive way, going back a decade ago, going the hard drive way first and maybe giving them, we'll say maybe to one of your kids?
Well, yeah, that's definitely the way to go. But here's a catch. Let me throw this tidbit. Let's say, no, I'm not going to go hard drive. I'm going to go IT. I'm going to go cloud. Okay. They increase it to $100 a month because that's where it's going, right?
So because they have it now. They got you hostage.
Exactly. Now, here's the catch. I don't want to pay $100 a month anymore, but I got 5 terabytes out there. How do you get it off? Before you say no, you have to go to that cloud and guess what? Download it to a hard drive. So that's going to be a catch-22. You're going to have to get a hard drive anyway. You might as well start now and get into the habit of saying, I can use the cloud, but you set yourself a schedule. Every month I download, boom, 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 boom. You have yourself a schedule of how you're going to maintain that. Now, we were started off talking about the filing structure and things of that. So you'll find that there's certain documents that you simply don't need on a regular basis. Okay, I want to keep my utilities. Do you really need to keep them for 15, 30 years? No, you may need to keep them at most 18 months only so that you can have a running tally to put a side by side of saying, hey, what were my expenditures at the same time for the electric bill last year? Now, but even on the website, they have that information readily available just the same. So you have to figure out, but 18 months is the extreme max for utilities. There's certain things you just don't need on a regular basis. I highly suggest things that relate to taxes. Ding, 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 ding. You want to keep for at least, if they're taxes, you got to keep them, period. You do not get rid of those. Have yourself a nice printer that you can scan documents. You know, you have these receipts for your business. You want to get into a system that you're scanning those. And guess what? When you're scanning those, have an electronic file structure that's going to benefit you. For example, let's call company whatever, ABC. ABC has to have a list of things that you have underneath there, such as documentation, receipts, pertinent information, contractors, contact information. You may want to put those into some things you'll use on a regular basis, but some things you won't. You want to break that down to, okay, 2024, 2023, 2022. Have those years down there, and then what you'll do is break out those folders accordingly after that. Now, one of the things I do, I'm very stickler for the organization of file structure. I create a folder that's called Copy To. It literally says COPY space TO. Well, what's that? Well, every time I create a year, underneath that year, I have all those folders, legal, contacts, utilities, things that already in that Copy To folder. Anything that I may need as a template, again, I'm big on templates. I simply, the next year, I copy that over. Boom, now all my file structure is already created. And it's automatically in the system. Actually, what I name it is ZZ space Copy To, because it automatically falls to the bottom. It makes it less priority, and then I just grab it and copy it over. And I always have something that I call do not use. I don't delete anything. I just do not use it. Right? So you never know. You saved it for a reason. Those reasons can come back.
So
when we talk about we talk about storage, the hard drive is your storage. So, okay, let's keep it for 5 years on my laptop. Okay, the rest of them are on my storage drive. Things like that. But again, you want to get in the habit of technology changes. And I hate to say it, every 5 years or so, get a new hard drive and copy that old hard drive over. Because keep it as a secondary backup. Why? Sometimes things happen to media and they degrade over time. And you're like, oh, I got to defrag it. You have to do this and that and so forth. But get in the habit of knowing that this happens, and then you're setting yourself up for success instead of for failure. So you just better safe than sorry.
Okay.
You know,